is enough said.
Happy Wednesday, Heat Nation, hump day. Your boy Ernest here, back with another Miami Heat Talk video. Really appreciate you guys tuning into the channel. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel. We are very close to 5,000 subscribers. Now, we're going to rock and roll on another Miami Heat Talk adventure, you guys. Spirits are high, feeling good, feeling positive for a few reasons. First, I woke up today. Remember what I tell you guys. Every day you wake up, you're already winning. So remember that moving forward, you guys. But also, the Miami Heat took care of business last night, you guys. Another preseason game against the San Antonio Spurs, our third one from the year. The Miami Heat wins 120-117, going 2-1 in the preseason. Cool? Doesn't really matter. Wins and losses in the preseason, you guys, really not a big deal. What you want to see is growth, development, and team chemistry, which is something we definitely saw last night. Now, you got to give hats off for Jimmy Butler. 3 preseason games in, he's played all of them. And he's not just playing these preseason games, you guys. Jimmy Butler is playing at a different level. He's locked in. You were seeing flashes of playoff Jimmy last night. And I know he's doing this because of the stigma. I said this all off season, you guys. I said this right before the season. Jimmy Butler is going to come in with a chip on his shoulder. The 2023 playoffs showed you that Jimmy Butler can lead a team to a championship. It's just you got to put the right pieces around him. You need luck, and health is the most important factor. But since then, Jimmy Butler, I don't think has been given the same respect, because that's what happens in life. You know, when a little bit of time goes by, people tend to forget. So I love Jimmy Butler last night. You know, he got 3 steals in the first half, finishes with 12 points, 4 rebounds, 24 minutes. You also get a great game from Bam Adebayo, 20 points on 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 for 3 from the three-point line. Bam Adebayo was looking very comfortable at the three-point line. I said this, you guys, a few years ago. For those that have been tuning into my channel for the last couple years, you guys know this, but I have been saying this. If Bam Adebayo can get his offense to a Chris Bosh level, he will be an MVP candidate. Ladies and gentlemen, you are seeing Bam Adebayo have an offensive game that can possibly even be better than Chris Bosh. So I'm loving Bam Adebayo. And I've said this also, you guys, the Miami Heat need to look at Bam Adebayo as their number 1 option moving forward. And when I say number 1 option, I don't mean just taking the most attempts. I mean putting the ball in his hand and allowing him to make decisions, because he does make right decisions playing under Eric Spoelstra. You have a really good game from Tyler Hero, 14 points on 24 minutes. Tyler Hero is also showing that those 12 pounds of muscle that he added in the offseason is helping, because you're seeing Tyler Hero get to the paint more, getting hit and connecting, getting hit and finishing at the rim. I will say this, you guys. Last night, I'm watching this team and I'm like, bro, this team looks really good. This lineup that Spo is putting together looks really good. Now, look, Terry Rozier doesn't have a great game in 24 minutes. You know, I know he goes for like 2 for 8 for the field, finishes with 5 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 5. So I'm okay with that. Nikola Jovic, 7 points on 24 minutes. This starting lineup, you guys, I know a lot of fans, Heat fans, were not looking forward to this starting lineup. I've been saying it for months now. This is the starting lineup that you're going to see to start the season. Bam Adebayo, Nikola Jovic, Jimmy Butler, Tyler Hero, Terry Rozier. A lot of us weren't fans about that, but I will say this. Offensively, it's working. Defensively, I'm surprised, but it's working. Now we're in preseason. We're not really going to know until the regular season starts. But I got to say, Tyler Hero and Nikola Jovic look like they've made upgrades defensively. Tyler Hero doesn't look lost anymore on the defensive end. He's actually timing his positioning correctly, getting steals, staying in front of his player. Nikola Jovic got 3 steals yesterday. He's showing that with his length, he's able to disrupt the other team's offense. And having Bam Adebayo and Jimmy Butler on the defensive end, these are 2 of some of the best defenders in the NBA. Terry Rozier is holding his own as well. So for a lot of us that thought that this starting lineup would be a defensive liability, doesn't really look that way. But I will say this. One of the things that I saw last night, these last two games against the Pelicans and the Spurs, you're seeing exactly what Spo's going with. We have finally seen what this rotation looks like. And unfortunately, it's going to piss a lot of Heat fans off because Kel'el Ware is not a part of that rotation. Last night, Kel'el Ware only plays 5 minutes. He played with the young guys. Pele Larson, Josh Christopher, Isaiah Stevens, Kashad Johnson. They all closed out the game, each getting about 5 to 6 minutes apiece. So Kel'el Ware and Pele Larson are not cracking the rotation. Right now, the rotation that you're seeing is the starting 5 I just said. Bam, Jovic, Jimmy, Hero, and Terry Rozier. You have Duncan Robinson and Jaime Jaquez Jr. as your 6 men, basically. Your 6-man Swiss Army knife. Duncan and Jaime Jaquez are leading the bench. Then you have a mix. It'll either be Haywood Highsmith or Alec Burks. 2 very different players. Spo's going to go matchup here. If you need more of a defensive presence, you're going to play Highsmith. But if you need scoring, you're going to play Alec Burks. And then the backup big man in the rotation is a mix. The last 2 games, you saw the same thing. Kevin Love and Thomas Bryant both come off the bench for Bam Adebayo. Now, Bam Adebayo is not going to play 24 minutes. That's just something I think we're seeing in preseason. Bam Adebayo usually plays a lot more during the regular season. Plays about 35 minutes. So that's going to leave 13 minutes up in the air. That's going to go to either Kevin Love or Thomas Bryant. It's just matchup driven. And that's another great thing about this roster that I've mentioned before, you guys. We're deep. We don't have a limited roster. Spo can play with certain players like this. You can go Highsmith or Alec Burks depending on the matchups. You can go Kevin Love or Thomas Bryant backing up Bam Adebayo depending on matchups. Kevin Love gives you a way better offensive presence. Even defensively, he's fine. Thomas Bryant, hit or miss, basically. But I know it's frustrating for Heat fans that see this because you drafted Kel'el Ware with the 15th pick. You want Kel'el Ware to be out there because how is Kel'el Ware going to get better is by playing. See, that is the realistic notion. That's what we think as Heat fans. But one thing I will say, you got to trust the process of the Miami Heat developmental system. For people that have been in my comments before or people that go on Miami Heat Twitter and say things like Spoelstra is a terrible coach, the organization doesn't know what they're doing, that is incredibly wrong. Look at the draft picks we've had recently. Even Jovic, who was a late first-round draft pick, is now a starting power forward on this team. The Miami Heat are seeing something in Kel'el Ware that we don't see. They're seeing that maybe he's just not ready yet. Why was Jaime Jaquez inserted immediately last year, you guys? 2 reasons. 1, you had injuries to Caleb Martin and Haywood Highsmith. So Jaquez filled in that role. But he was also a 4-year player in UCLA. Kel'el Ware only played 2 years in college. He's still young. He's still raw. They're still developing him. I'm sure they want him to gain a little bit of size also. He's listed as 7 feet, 240 pounds, but guys, I'm sure he's about 225, 230. So you want him to gain a little bit of size. You want him to develop a little bit more. And it's a long season. I've said this before, you guys, and I'll say it again. We are not going to see Kel'el Ware get a more active role until probably around December or January. You're going to see Kevin Love and Thomas Bryant go down. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Knock on wood, hoping it doesn't, but this is the Miami Heat. Players play super hard. There's always going to be dings and nagging injuries, especially to a guy like Kevin Love, who's in his mid-30s. So that's when you're going to see Kel'el Ware crack this rotation. Does it suck? Who's to say? But at the end of the day, you guys, I will always have faith in the very best coach in the NBA, Eric Spoelstra, and one of the very best executives, the Godfather, Pat Riley. I have full confidence on these guys knowing when Kel'el Ware is ready. Because yes, he can hit threes, he can score in the paint, he can rebound, and he can block the hell out of shots, which is what we need. But there's also a lot of times in defense and in offense where he looks a little lost. So if Spo's not playing him with the regular rotation, that means he might not be ready. But one player that I'm crazy shocked with, and one player whose name I didn't mention who is cracking this rotation, Drew Smith. Drew Smith, and if you notice, you guys, I mentioned a rotation and I didn't say Drew Smith's name. That's mainly because I forgot, honestly. Drew Smith last night played 20 minutes, 5 points, 5 assists, 3 rebounds, hustling like hell on the defensive end, showing why Erik Spoelstra gives this guy trust. Last year, he cracked the rotation at the beginning of the season, playing about 15 minutes a game, but he was inserted as the backup point guard. And then he tore his ACL. But this dude is a pest defensively. He's got Gabe Vincent vibes on the defensive end. Spo loves him. He's on a two-way contract. And the fact that he played 20 minutes yesterday, he wasn't playing 5 minutes with the young guys, shows me that Spoelstra is giving this guy a little bit of trust. And you know Drew Smith is fighting because he's on a two-way deal. And if you ask me, you guys, there's other players that might fight for that two-way contract. Isaiah Stevens, Zion Pullen, Nazir Little, Warren Washington. These are 2 guys that are trying to get that two-way contract. I think Drew Smith has locked it up. He's shown you these last 3 games that on the defensive end, he gives us exactly what we need. And that is very important, especially for a point guard. So I want to hear from you, Heat Nation. Seeing the rotation the last few games, are you happy with it? Do you think it's good enough? Or are you pissed off that Kel'el Ware is not playing yet? I think he still needs time to develop and get ready, but maybe you think a different way. Let me know in the comments your thoughts, you guys. Don't forget to like the video. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel. We are on the road to 5,000 subscribers, and remember the challenge I have, you guys. You get me to 5,000 subscribers by October 23rd, the first game of the regular season, and I'll do a $50 giveaway. So just click that subscribe button and you can be $50 richer. Until next time, your boy Ernest out, and that is enough said. Let's go Heat!